Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margo D. Hello, my friend.
How you doing?
I don't know what to say to that. There's more. Also joining us is our podcasting brother from another mother, Adam Riske from F This Movie. Hello, friend.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
We are dorking out about 2010's The Expendables, and I think maybe the other ones, if we want to throw them in there too, although Adam's the only one who's seen them all. This one came out, like I said, 2010. It's written by David Callahan and Sylvester Stallone. It's directed by Stallone, and it stars all kinds of action heroes from the 80s and 90s. Also, what I've been calling it is Planet Hollywood, the movie. Why did we pick this movie? How did we get here? Do you remember how we got here?
That's a good question.
We started like tangentially. I don't know how to say that word, but we started talking about. We were talking about another movie, and then we were just talking about movies that have really big casts. And then, like, who would you replace? And it always goes back to Kevin Costner.
Yeah,
that's usually where we can start with these conversations. You start with Kevin Costner,
yes,
and move out.
He's our Kevin. He's our Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, and so I think we thought, like, what if we had Kevin Costner as the lead? Then who would we put there? And then that's how it got started. And then that got us to have Expendables on the brain. And so we decided to watch it. And it's a perfectly fine summer, dumb movie.
Right. We were going to do the Dependables.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And it was like Costner, Dennis Quaid, like, like people that
Don Johnson.
Don Johnson, Ed Harris, those people. And then and then it turned into something totally different.
Yeah.
So let's start with Adam. Did you see this movie in the theater?
Yeah, like right away.
Did you see them all in the theater?
Yeah, right away.
Okay. What was it about it that you wanted to see so bad?
I couldn't have been more excited about the prospect of this franchise going into it. I don't know. I've just, ever since I was, before like middle school age, like back in grade school, like I've just been such a huge fan of like 80s and 90s action movies. And I saw a lot of them, at a time when I was kind of forming my own taste in movies and just other types of pop culture. So I had a lot of history and just sort of affinity for a lot of the cast. And then only at this point in time in 2010 could you get these guys at the back end of their career willing to like forego their ego and be in the same movie at the same time. Because back in like the 80s and 90s, it was kind of unthinkable to have, Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger in the same movie, or, Bruce Willis in the same movie with those guys. Like you might get one, maybe two. You might get two of them together in a movie, like Van Damme and Lundgren and Universal Soldier, but it was like unheard of to get like this many together. So going into the movie, it was just sort of, other than kind of this nostalgia victory lap, it's like, what is this going to look like? So I was really interested going into the first one.
And did you like it?
Not really. I've grown to be okay with the first one. I would say that I'm more of a fan of the second one, especially, and the third one than I am the first one.
I could see that. I watched the first one, and it really was like a big throwback to like 80s, early 90s action. Like there's a total disregard for like for casualties and destruction. Like it's,
Yeah,
a lot.
I have stats on that.
It what?
I have stats on that.
Yeah.
On IMDb, they said that the body count in the first one was 188. In the second one, it's 482.
Yeah.
And in the third one, it's 480.
Jesus.
Oh,
Christ,
so so it's less than in the third one by 2.
Yeah, I bet Stallone was just like, we need to make this one a little less violent.
So let's subtract 2.
Yeah. He's like, it's PG-13, guys. We need to make this less violent.
It has to be less than 485.
Yeah. Isn't that mind-boggling that a PG-13 movie has 480 kills?
That's insane.
Yeah.
And probably no F words.
No, it has like 3.
Yeah.
So weird. Is it because we
very
don't
weird.
see boobs? Is that why? That must be why it's not rated R. We don't see
I don't know.
boobs.
Some of these guys are boobs.
Yeah, that's true. Valid. So many boobs in this movie.
Yeah.
I felt like this movie was such a missed opportunity. Because it wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't as fun as I thought it was going to be.
I thought it could be like Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
But for like meatheads. And like the jokes just fall flat. I mean, if the script needed somebody like Patton Oswalt or someone to throw in some one-liners to help it along, I just felt like the plot is incomprehensible to me, and just some of the things he has them say are just so lame. And the women characters, there's just 2 of them, and they treat them like garbage.
Yeah. I was happy to see Charisma Carpenter because I just really like her. I used to watch.
She's awesome.
I watched Buffy and Angel and all that, so I was like, oh, it's her. I love her. But, she doesn't have too much to do.
Not really.
In fact, she has nothing to do.
Yeah.
She comes back later in the series. I think it's funny. There's like so her and Jason Statham are an item, and then he goes off to do his mercenary thing, and then she doesn't know if their relationship is still going, so she starts seeing another guy. And like Statham has this scene where he goes back to visit her, and he has this line that I just thought was so funny because it's like he's this tough guy, but he's like, you should have waited for me. I was worth it.
I thought the same thing. I was like, it's a really funny line coming from him.
Yeah. He's like, I'm not perfect, but I was worth it. And I'm just like, what is going on? But I one of the things that Margo is saying, she's so right on, is the dialogue in these movies. It gets to the point, like by the second and third one, where you're almost looking forward to how bad the dialogue is, and it becomes like this weird game. But they say stuff like an example, and I'm exaggerating just a little bit, is they'll be like, you're a crazy head. Well, at least I'm not a crazy shoulders. And then they'll fist bump.
Yeah. You're only exaggerating the tiniest bit, by the way. That line might be in there. The lines are so ridiculous. And in the second one, there is this forced trying to get in like the lines that are are memorable, that we know them for. So it's like, I'll be back. And it's like, you always say that. And then he, I'm going to be, I'll be back. And then he leaves and, and then Arnold says, yippee-ki-yay. It's just so stupid.
It's self-referential. Yeah. It's too much.
And
it's too much.
And their names are so bad. Like I wrote it down. I was like, Stallone's playing someone named Barney Ross. And I was like, he sounds like he works at H&R Block. And then Jet Li is Yin Yang. I was like, that's the fucking best they could come up with. Like,
his name before that was supposed to be like Kang Kao.
Yeah,
it's so bad. And then Jason Statham is Lee Christmas.
Yeah.
You know that they let them pick their own names.
True. Very true.
It had to have been what it is.
When he said, you should have waited for me, I'm worth it, I fully expected her to say, your name is Christmas and you only come once a year.
Oh, there you go.
You should have been the screenwriter instead of Sylvester Stallone and David Callahan.
I thought that's where it was going. And then he just leaves. And I was like, oh, well, that's another missed opportunity.
I like the bad dialogue is so great because it eventually just reaches like critical mass in the third movie where Harrison Ford is in it and he's like basically replacing, like explicitly he says in the movie at the beginning, like he's replacing the Bruce Willis character. And the reason why he's replacing the Bruce Willis character is because Bruce Willis and Stallone had a fight over money for the third one. So Stallone gets some digs in on Bruce Willis because he's pissed at him.
Right.
So Harrison Ford has a moment towards the end. His name is Drummer, and he's flying a helicopter because, of course, Harrison Ford has to be flying something.
Yes, of course.
Right.
And he goes, "Drummers in the house." And you haven't
the
lived
second one?
until you've seen
That's
Harrison
in the third
Ford
one.
say "drummers in the house."
Holy shit. So do you recommend edibles before watching this?
It would probably make it fun.
Because I was drinking wine and it wasn't fun. I was drinking wine and I just went to my IMDb list and started thinking about other people I would like to see in the part. I mean, Stallone's enjoyable, I have to say. Stallone looks like he's having a lot of fun.
I couldn't stop looking at his arms in the first one. They're so veiny.
Yeah.
It's like all veins. Like
He's ripped.
it's like I was like, "Ew, I don't want to touch that." And then there's another guy in the movie. I had to look up his name because I don't know who he is. Randy Couture. Who the fuck is he?
Toll Road.
Yeah,
Road.
Toll Road? I wrote down he has the charisma of a young Burt Young.
He's not. He's been in some movies, but he's not an actor of 80s and 90s action movies. For some reason they decided to sort of incorporate wrestlers and mixed martial artists into these movies.
But he doesn't
so, like,
have
that's
anything to do.
Which is fine. I mean, like him and Terry Crews basically get kind of the, second banana parts of the Expendables. So
I constantly forgot he was in the movie.
Who?
Like,
yeah,
exactly. Who? Randy
Yeah,
Couture.
Yeah, I have nobody for him, by the way. I just put a question mark because I couldn't remember who he was.
yeah. I think I've got a good Couture. I'm excited to tell you both my Couture.
Okay.
Ooh, okay. Because we made our own lists of Expendables, and we gave them their own titles and things like that. And we're going to review that later. It's going to be super fun. I think that's the real reason we wanted to talk about the Expendables.
Can someone just explain the plot to me, like, quickly? Just what did I watch? The first one.
I can try. So these guys are mercenaries, and they're basically hired by the CIA to do jobs that the CIA can't be on the record of doing. So there's a rogue member of the CIA, played by Eric Roberts, who has gone to this other country, which I can't remember what it is, if it was a real one or if it's like in Expendables 3 where the fictional country is Asmanistan. Which got a big laugh from me the first time I saw that movie. So Eric Roberts is like running this drug empire, and he's got a lot of like private army, and he's co-opted the local military. So there's a general that's kind of like an underling of Eric Roberts. So it's Eric Roberts, Stone Cold Steve Austin is the muscle, and this general who I'm told was on Dexter, but I never watched Dexter before. They're oppressing everybody in the country. So Stallone and Statham run reconnaissance to check out what's going on there. They get into like this big firefight. They leave, but then their contact is this woman who is the general's daughter, not the John Travolta movie, but the
I wish we were watching The General's Daughter.
That's an insane movie.
All right, let's put that. We'll put that one on our list.
We got to put that on the list. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that movie has one of my favorite lines ever where somebody says to John Travolta, "You better start thinking about your career." And he goes, "You better start thinking about yours." And it's like just in there to be at the end of the trailer. I love it. So then like Stallone kind of makes googly eyes with the woman who's the contact, and she refuses to go with him at the beginning of the movie. So then he goes back to save her, basically. And then that is the climax of the movie, as he's fighting off this giant army with the rest of the Expendables to save this girl.
Yeah. And somewhere in the middle of, very good job, by the way, Adam.
Thank you.
And somewhere in the middle of that, he has a heart-to-heart with Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke. Okay.
That was a welcome sight.
I am not the biggest Mickey Rourke fan, but I really liked him here. Is that controversial?
Yeah. No. Not at all. I honestly, I thought he was going to have more to do. I thought he was like part of the team. I thought he was going to be in the thick of the action, but he wasn't.
Yeah, he's kind of like the the Charlie of Charlie's Angels, where he like scopes out the missions for them.
He's John Forsythe.
Yeah. No, Mickey Rourke was some of my favorite scenes in the movie because he's so Mickey Rourke in this movie.
He is.
Where like the first time we see him in like 3 scenes, and then like in the first scene he's like riding in on a chopper with like this woman, and he's like, her name's Cheyenne, and I'm like, of course her name's Cheyenne.
Yeah.
Every woman is Cheyenne to Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
And then the second scene, he like Cheyenne breaks up with her, and then Stallone's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm painting this guitar that I made for Cheyenne, and then I'm gonna smash it. And I'm like, I know Mickey Rourke has done that 100 times.
Yeah. Actually, they weren't. That was just like offset, and they decided to use it in the movie. Like,
Totally. Yeah. And then he has one of those speeches to Stallone that they have in like every one of these movies, and it's always the same, and I love it because they're just like, do you remember that time we were pinned down? There was so much mud and blood, and like, it's always mud and blood, and we were pinned down, and we didn't think we were gonna make it. And it's great.
and then we did. Remember?
Remember that?
Remember the time? Yeah, remember the time.
Mhm.
And then we have Dolph Lundgren in there, who's
I love Dolph Lundgren.
He's
So-
wonderful.
He's so
I love him.
underused in this movie, though. In the
He's
second
so
one,
funny.
he has stuff to do. But in the first one, I'm just like, oh, Dolph Lundgren, you needed more to do in this movie. I felt like he didn't get that much.
He's
I lo-
funny.
Yeah, I like that they kind of make him the crazy one because
Mhm.
it gives him a character to play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not just the muscle. At least he
Yeah,
has
'cause-
something to do.
Yeah, he's not Randy Couture. He has like a personality, and like you don't know when he comes into a scene like where he's coming from. So it sort of has like an interesting. You kind of perk up when Lundgren is in the movie.
Yeah.
I perk up.
Yeah,
I
He's awesome.
really like Jet Li too, actually. I wish he
Yeah.
had a I
Yeah.
wish he had a better name. But I like Jet Li. You know, I think I wanted more Jet Li in the movie, actually. I would've
yeah.
liked that.
He gets kind of done dirty by the franchise because he's mostly in the first one, and then he's in the opening scene of the second one,
Mhm.
and then he's basically got like kind of a extended cameo in the third one.
Hmm. That's too bad.
But I love his like nonsensical bit. This is totally like the writing of this movie, where he's like, I need more money for my son, and they're like, you don't have a son, and he's like, I know, and that's the joke.
There's other weird jokes too about like that he's short. So he has
Yeah.
to work harder than everyone else because it takes him longer to get to places because he's short. And
It's
then
more work for
like,
him. Yeah. 'Cause
and
he's
then there-
little.
And then there's a thing about like in the second one where Dolph Lundgren is picking on him and he's like, who am I going to pick on? And he's like a different minority. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's the joke.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is happening? What is that joke? It's so weird.
Yeah, they have like real weird lines where they're like when Jet Li, he literally like jumps out of the expendable plane and parachutes off, and that's how he leaves the second movie, and it's right after the opening action sequence, and they're like, how's that for Chinese takeout? And I'm like, oh my god.
It's so bad.
So, and by the way, is that Liam Hemsworth in the second one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That shocked me what happened to him. I
That was
actually
what
surprised.
what a gruesome way to go.
Oh, it's fucking horrifying.
yeah.
And then we have who am I thinking of? Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
Who's terrific
I
in the
love him.
second movie.
Yeah.
He's great.
He's the
Yeah.
best part.
The first movie, I think, has a villain problem.
Yeah.
Because Eric Roberts and Steve Austin, and then the general from Dexter, like, are not. They're not like, you need Mickey Rourke in that part. Like, you need somebody who's gonna be crazy and big. And I heard like Eric Roberts was not their original choice. They were going for like Ray Liotta and Ben Kingsley and Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, and they all turned it down.
Mm.
Ben Kingsley would have been interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that Eric Roberts isn't a good actor. He is. It's just he's not right for this part. He's not. I don't know. He doesn't. I'm not very scared of Eric Roberts in this role. I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm scared of Eric Roberts in Star 80, but I'm not scared of Eric Roberts in The Expendables.
I'm scared to watch Star 80. Once I heard about that, I'm just like, yeah, I can't go there.
He
Don't.
is fucked up in that.
It's
movie.
just just such a sad story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every scene in this movie is ends on a fist bump, right? It also has like I wrote down it has like a classic rock soundtrack that my dad super loves.
I was just going to mention that. Yeah.
Like when they start, I think it's the end, right? Where it's like, the boys are back in town. Like that, you know, and I was like, of course that song is in this movie. I'm surprised it wasn't at the beginning and they're all walking in slow motion.
I do like how they used that music in the movie because they play it like on the plane. So it seems like, yeah, this is what these guys would listen to.
That's true. Valid.
Absolutely.
I also thought we have all these action stars in this movie, but then the action scenes weren't very well done, for at least for me. I had a hard time telling what was going on. I couldn't follow the action.
Same here.
Yeah,
I couldn't follow anything.
The first one, the first one is real chopped up. The second one and the third one have more, better direction of the action scenes for sure.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
And I just, once again, like Randy Couture, like he had nothing to do. And then every once in a while, Terry Crews would show up and he had a giant gun. And that was kind of his thing.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like they were both underused. Or Terry Crews shows up a little bit more in the second one. I don't know how he is in the third one.
He's sidelined pretty early in the third one. The second one is the best for the ensemble, where they're all together for most of the movie. The first one, it's mostly like the Stallone Statham show for a lot of it. And then the third one, they like add some people. So like Wesley Snipes is in there and Antonio Banderas is in there. And Banderas is great in the third one. But like they also introduced like the Flintstone Kids Expendables, where it's like the big generation. And like half of like the first act of the movie is like Stallone recruiting them with Kelsey Grammer. It's real weird.
Jesus, what?
It's got Kelsey Grammer and Mel Gibson. Weird.
Yeah, like Kelsey Grammer is just like, he just surveys like the globe finding potential expendables.
So then we find like, so it's like Expendables and Expendables babies.
Yeah, it's like in Bad Boys for Life, how they have the new division ammo of like the kids it's like the 21 Jump Street kids.
Oh, I might have to see this.
Yeah, they're not bad boys, but they're bad kids.
I have to see this now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to get there. I couldn't get there in time for this, but I am going to get there.
And it's so funny because like the Expendables kids, like you're supposed to think like, ooh, look who they got to be in this. Like, because all these other guys, the older actors are kind of names for the most part. But then like they'll introduce like these kids. It's like Ronda Rousey, Glenn Powell, Kellen Lutz. And it's like, this is doing nothing for me.
I'm like, I know one of those people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So you already told us which one was the best one. Who's your favorite member of the team, Adam?
In the first one, I would say it's probably Lundgren.
Yeah.
Because he's, you know, like a drug addict who wants to kill pirates, and then they kick him off the team, and then he's like turning tables on them. So he's got a lot to do. But then, I don't know. I mean, like, Stallone and Statham over the franchise become kind of the heart and soul. They're kind of like the Dom and Brian of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, from Fast and Furious. So you kind of grow to be like, oh, this is their thing. And, like, they're really invested. And that's one thing that I do like is, unlike some of the later Fast and Furious movies, like, they're not, like, they're kind of winking, but there's also like enough sincerity where you can tell like these guys like really love being in these movies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Who is your favorite, Margo?
Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah.
/ Mickey Rourke. I actually, when
Yeah.
Mickey Rourke was on screen, I totally was paying attention. The two of them, when they were on screen, I was totally paying attention. I was smiling. I got it. It's the rest of the time I was super confused.
Mickey Rourke looks like Jack Sparrow in this movie.
He totally does. Oh my gosh, that's exactly right.
Sorry, Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, come on. Have a little respect. Who do you think is the most expendable?
Ooh, probably, I even forgot his name already.
Yeah, right?
Randy Couture.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, I'll
Well,
go with Randy Couture.
Yeah,
Bye.
what's his face? Yeah, well, bye. It's like mine and Margo's favorite thing.
Should have been in this.
Oh my, he totally would have been in this.
If you put him in the Eric Roberts part, just like he would like chew those lines.
Hmm.
you
I would
know?
like him to play the same character from Tombstone as in that role,
Yeah.
like with the same
Yeah.
clothes and everything.
They
That
should
would-
have replaced Randy Couture with John Corbett.
Yeah. Give us something.
Yeah.
Give
He's
us.
just like the super nice expendable.
I made everybody sandwiches for the plane.
Instead of a gun, he just brings a guitar and like plugs in an amp.
I wish that happened in this movie.
Like everybody else
What?
is having a firefight and he's just wailing country rock.
He's killing them with kindness.
Yeah.
Hello, corrupt evil dictator. Are you ready to rock? Oh my god. What if Kevin Costner was in this movie?
Oh man. He would definitely have to be the Barney Russ. Like there's some
Yeah.
actors where they're just so larger than life that like they could only be like the leader of this team. So like one thing I like with Statham is these movies make me realize he's like a really good second guy. Like I don't
Yeah,
like
that
him
makes
as
sense.
the main guy, but like when he's the second guy, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Seconded. Or
Yep.
thirded. Yes.
What did you both think of the Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis, Stallone scene?
I feel like you could feel the hatred that
Yeah.
they have for each other. And Bruce Willis, like, almost embarrassed to be there. But it's you could tell him and Stallone don't like each other. You could feel that hatred.
It wasn't
Yeah.
it just wasn't as fun as I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
Do they still run Planet Hollywood together?
I don't think so.
I
'Cause
don't think that's around anymore.
I think there's one Planet. I know there's one Planet Hollywood at Disney World in like their downtown Disney Springs area,
Mhm.
but I think it's run by Planet Hollywood Casino now.
Mm.
Mm.
I ate at a Planet Hollywood in the 90s and I was so excited to be there just because you're surrounded by movie stuff and I'm
Mhm.
was like, "Oh, this is amazing. I get to be around all this stuff." And I ordered, this is when I still ate meat, so I ate the it was like Captain Crunch encrusted chicken or something.
Oh, jeez.
So bad for you. It was so bad. And it tasted terrible.
Yeah.
Which is maybe one of the reasons they don't exist anymore. But it was cool to be around all that movie stuff.
But that was
Yeah.
a thing. Like they opened a new one, it felt like every few months.
Hmm.
And Demi Moore and Bruce Willis, like they would all be there. And then
Yeah, and
the
he
local
would,
artifacts would be there, yeah.
yeah, and Bruce Willis would always go to the openings and like sing and play the harmonica.
Bruno.
Bruno, the
Bruno.
return of Bruno.
Yeah.
Respect
I did like Planet
yourself.
Hollywood. I liked that it felt catered to like movie weirdos like me because I could sit there eating a burger and then on a giant LCD screen it's just like a countdown of the top 10 grossing movies of all time and I'm like, "Ooh, I got it right."
Yeah.
No, do you remember I don't know if you guys remember this. They tried to do this with models. They had the model cafe.
They just bring you
Women
an
who
empty
don't
plate.
eat.
Yeah, they just bring you
Yes.
an empty plate.
Exactly. But they tried that in New York. That started to be a thing. And what am I thinking of? The rock and roll
Yeah,
one.
there's the Hard Rock Cafe.
Hard
Yeah.
Rock Cafe, and then there was the Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
That one was
Mhm.
starting to
The
be a thing.
Hard Rock still exists because there's
The
one.
hotel in Vegas was fun.
Yeah, there's one here at Pier 39 in San Francisco. We never eat there, but they have a really nice bathroom. That's where we go to use the bathroom when we're there.
Good to know.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
It's
Hard Rock in Vegas is cool. I like that
Yes.
place. I saw Axl Rose without Guns N' Roses there, and he was awesome.
Really?
Yeah, because I heard like his voice was shot, but then like it was for a crowd of about 500 people, and he was terrific. And like he had a piano, and he played November Rain, and then the piano like lifted off the stage over the audience. I'm like,
gosh.
Oh, wow.
this is amazing. So I'll always remember that with Hard Rock Vegas.
I love it when stuff like that happens in shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty dope.
A couple years ago, oh my God, it must have been like 15 years ago or something. I saw Beck out here in San Francisco, and there was a thing where like a bed came down from the ceiling. And I was like, what is happening? And he like sang a song called Deborah and like rolled around on the bed. And I was like, I don't know what's happening right now. It's so weird.
Didn't Madonna do that in Truth or Dare?
Yeah.
That
Maybe
was her
and maybe
thing.
that's why he did it, because I think maybe
Yeah.
he was trying to be funny. I don't know. He's such a
Mm.
weirdo.
He's so strange.
He's so strange. Do we want to talk about our lists?
Yeah, let's get to the list.
Yeah.
Who should go first? Maybe guests should go first. Maybe Adam should go first.
Okay. All right. So mine, there's so many directions I could go in, so I decided to do Chicago-born actors, male and female. So mine are and also I couldn't resist the name being the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my Sylvester Stallone would be Robin Williams.
Oh,
That's a good
so-
one.
wow. Okay,
my-
so you can pick dead people. We said that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My Jason Statham is Bonnie Hunt,
Oh, I love Bonnie Hunt.
Yes.
because they were friends in real life.
Yeah.
So I want to reunite them as friends in my Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
The Jet Li is Billy Zane.
Ooh, interesting.
I love this list.
The Dolph Lundgren, you need kind of a crazy person, so I put Chris Farley.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
That's a great one.
My Terry Crews is Terrence Howard.
He is also
Good
crazy.
choice.
Yep. My Randy Couture is Jim Belushi.
That is such a Belushi part. Oh my
Yep.
God.
Yep.
Yes.
My Mickey Rourke is Dennis Franz.
Oh, you love some
Perfect.
Dennis Franz.
I love Dennis Franz. And then for my villains, the General is Ted Levine.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
My Steve Austin is Michael Madsen.
I like. God, such a good
It's
list.
a good list. I'm
And
embarrassed about
to
mine.
cap it off, my Eric Roberts is Joan Cusack.
Nicely done.
I'm so mad
There you
that
go.
Joan Cusack's not on my list.
You can put her on your list.
No. Oh my God. I'm embarrassed about my list now. Adam's list is so good. Margo, should you go next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a Cusack. For Barney Ross, I have John Cusack. For
Very
the
emo to start off.
Yeah.
Well, get ready for this. So
Okay.
my Jason Statham is actually Michelle Rodriguez, because I
Oh
just
my
want to see
God.
Oh
everything.
my gosh, that's so good.
The
That's
two of them
amazing.
together. Come on.
Yeah.
For Jet Li, I have Aquafina.
Nice.
For Dolph Lundgren, I have Charlize Theron.
Nice.
That's really good. Yeah.
For Eric Roberts, I have Julia Roberts.
That's my favorite
not?
so far.
Steve Austin, I replace with Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
For General Garza, or the bad guy, I have Queen Latifah.
This is awesome.
For Terry Crews, I have Tiffany Haddish, excuse me,
Mhm.
from Girls Trip and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
For Mickey Rourke, I have Crispin Glover. And
These
for
are so
Bruce
good.
Willis, I have Demi Moore.
Oh, that's good too.
This is such a good list.
Thank
What's
you.
the name of your team?
I didn't pick one. Let me think of one. I'm not as clever as you guys on the fly.
I am really annoyed with myself because I didn't do like a full-on one-to-one like you guys.
It's okay.
The Margo. I'm sorry, Margogables. Margogables. That's
I like it. So I called mine the Wine Tastables. And that's the adventure we're going on. So, and then I wrote at the top, besides my sister, my friend John, and Margo, here's who else would be in the Wine Tastables. Sandra Bullock.
I almost had her.
Yeah, which I guess she would be my Barney Ross. If, we could try to attach one-to-ones along here. Sigourney Weaver.
That's a really good pick. Yeah.
She would be my designated driver.
Yeah.
On this adventure. Regina King.
Nice.
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore. She would hold my hair back while I throw up. Maya Rudolph.
Nice.
She would get drunk and karaoke with me. Jamie Lee Curtis. Maybe Jamie Lee Curtis would be the Eric Roberts.
He'd be good. Yeah.
Margot Robbie. Robbie.
Mm-hmm.
It's Robbie, right? And then
Robbie.
Yeah, and then my two young ones, Kate McKinnon and Brie Larson.
Nice.
They're my youngins. They're the ones who would like get really, really trashed, but then they would not be hungover the next day. So they could run out and like get us all breakfast.
I could totally see Brie Larson in like an Expendables reboot, and she's like the Stallone.
I had multiple lists going on. This list was really hard for me.
No, me too. I had a lot of scratch outs, and I thought it over again, and I had put Liam Hemsworth for the Charisma Carpenter part before I had seen him in the second movie.
Like I had like an old-timey Expendables list. I had like a list of like Dependables when we were originally talking about Dependables. So it was like Bill Pullman, Paul Rudd, Jeff Bridges, like Kurt Russell, like all these people. And I'm like, but I had to cut them because they didn't really fit into my Wine Tastables.
A few of the Chicago Bulls I crossed out, or who just barely didn't make the cut, are Anna Klumsky, Robin Tunney, Lorenz Tate, Michael Rooker, and Joe Mantegna.
Those are all awesome.
Wow.
I like that too. See, there's so many.
This was better than the movie.
This was much better.
And then, I also had like Ving Rhames on a list at one point. I had Keanu Reeves on a list at one point. I had Kevin Bacon, Jackie Chan, Steve Martin.
There's a couple people that you named that were rumored to be in the Expendables, because that's one of the things that's most interesting about the first movie is the list of all the people who were almost in this movie.
Ooh, who was almost in it? Do you know?
So Stallone was always there, and Statham was always there. Jet Li, I think it might have been like Jackie Chan at one point. Terry Crews went through a lot of different changes. It was originally Wesley Snipes, but he was going to jail. Then it went to Forrest Whitaker. Then it went to 50 Cent, and then it went to Terry Crews.
Wow.
I can't believe at no point they wanted Ice Cube, huh?
No, I guess not. Which is fine by me because he doesn't like Jewish people, so screw him.
Yeah, fuck him then.
Yeah. And then like Kurt Russell was supposed to be up for the Bruce Willis part, but he didn't want to do ensemble movies at the time. Van Damme was supposed to be the Lundgren part, but he didn't like the role, so he waited until the second one to play the villain.
That's smart.
That was smart.
Yeah, and then all the people that I mentioned with the Eric Roberts part.
Yeah. No Steven Seagal at any point, huh?
Oh, no, they offered him a cameo, but he didn't get along with the producer, so that's why he's not in the movie, which is fine because he's a horrible human being. So.
He is a garbage person. He's a former What a Creep episode.
Yeah,
that's one thing that's a bummer a little bit. Just I can put it away and still watch these movies and enjoy them, but so many of the 80s and 90s action stars have blemishes on their record somehow, where they're like have done some really shitty things or said some really questionable things, and you kind of have to like decide if it's okay, I'll let it slide, or okay, like it's Mel Gibson.
I fucking hate Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
I hate him.
No,
But
I can't stand him.
But I will try to sit through the third one at some point.
Yeah.
This opened the same weekend as Eat, Pray, Love and Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
I remember that weekend. Yeah.
I haven't seen Eat, Pray, Love.
I was just about to ask that if is it terrible?
It's not great. I mean, the eat part is fun, but the praying and the love parts are just sort of kind of a waste.
All right. I won't put it on the list. But I do love me some Scott Pilgrim versus the World. That movie.
That's a good movie.
That movie makes me laugh stupid hard every time I watch it.
Yeah.
I love
Do you want to hear about some of the top songs in 2010?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Okay, so these are all the songs that came, the top songs from 2010 around this time. Adele, "Rolling in the Deep."
I love that song.
Me too.
I have a story about that song. Can I tell you?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell it, please.
I live down the street from a piano bar that has a speaker to attract street traffic. So like you can hear the piano bar singer, and he sang "Rolling in the Deep" poorly with bad pitch every night for about a year. So I can never listen to that song.
Oh, I'm so
That's
sorry.
so sad.
No, it's a great song.
Was like, he's like "Rolling in the Deep."
Oh.
Okay, let's see if any of these are triggering. Bruno Mars, "Just the Way You Are."
That's a good song too.
Yeah.
There's nobody more 2010 than Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars. Well, how about Rihanna? Rihanna, "Only Girl," which is a really good song.
That's a good song.
I like
Katy
her.
Perry, "California Girls."
That's a good song.
I like that song too.
The Black Keys, "Tighten Up."
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
good
what
song.
happened to them?
And,
what happened to them?
And then lastly, Foster the People, "Pumped Up Kicks," which I still like.
Those are
I
all
like
good
that
songs.
song until I listen to the lyrics, and then I'm like, ooh, this is dark.
It's dark, yeah.
That's one of those weird songs that you're like, that's so happy, and then you listen and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
What's happening here? I also have the top 10 movies of 2010. Do we want to hear that?
Oh, please.
Okay. It's a lot of animation in this one. Number 10, How to Train Your Dragon.
Never seen it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I saw the first one. I saw this one. Yeah, it's cute. Number 9, Despicable Me.
Never seen it.
Never seen it.
Did I see this one? Yes. I saw this one. I haven't seen any of the other ones, including the Minions, which, by the way, is like a badge of honor when you're a parent.
Yeah.
Fucking Minions, man. They're fucking everywhere. They're the worst. Okay, number 8 is Tangled, which I've never seen.
It.
Number 7, Iron Man 2.
Saw it.
Not good.
Not great.
No. Number 6, Eclipse. It's one of the Twilight movies. I haven't seen any of the Twilight movies except for the first one.
I seen the first 3, and I think Eclipse is the one where I bailed.
Yeah, I think you made the right choice. Number 5 is Shrek Forever After.
Probably saw it.
I think I bailed after 3 on that one.
Yeah, I didn't see that one either. Number 4 is Inception.
It's pretty good.
Isn't that?
That's the one with Leonardo DiCaprio, and it's the Christopher Nolan movie.
About dreaming? About dreams?
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't follow it.
Oh, I definitely didn't follow it, but I liked it. Number 3 was Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Loved it.
Yeah.
It's good.
Those last 2, man, they're bummers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the earlier ones where it's just a bunch of kids doing magic.
Yeah.
Once Voldemort shows up, I like them a lot less.
Mm-hmm. Same. Number 2, Alice in Wonderland.
How is that number
good.
2?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
I didn't like Alice in Wonderland.
I didn't like it either.
You liked it, Margo?
I liked it fine. I mean, of all the Tim Burton reboots, it's one of the better ones.
Yeah. I didn't.
Better than Planet of the Apes.
I
Which
love
isn't
that
saying
I love that that's the bar.
Yeah.
And then number 1 is Toy Story 3.
Oh God, the one made me cry my eyes out.
Okay,
I
They all
liked
make me
it.
cry my eyes out. Oh my God.
they all make me cry my eyes out. I actually haven't seen the 4th one yet, but I will see it because Calvin goes through phases where he's super obsessed with the Toy Story movies. I've seen the 3rd one many, many, many times. And for the first couple of weeks, I cried every time. And I was like,
Yeah.
please stop watching this movie. Like every time.
I rewatched Toy Story 2 about like 2 weeks ago for a column, and it was my first time watching it in I think like almost 20 years.
Mhm.
And man, that movie's great.
Toy Story 2 is the best one.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Like, I haven't seen the 4th one, but I can't imagine the 4th one is any better than the 2nd one. The 2nd one is like a perfect movie.
Yeah.
The 4th one's weird because it feels like an epilogue almost more than like something of a continuing story. It's almost just kind of like we want to be back and we've got no more story to tell, but isn't it fun to be back?
Oh, see, that's why I didn't run out to see it. Just I thought the 3rd one ended so perfectly.
Yeah.
It was hard for me to like work up the energy to go see the 4th one, and my son was indifferent, surprisingly. So
Mm-hmm.
The
we
4th
didn't go.
one's like it's not bad, it just feels kind of trivial.
Okay. Well, it might be a good Netflix or Disney Plus streaming at some point. We're watching all the Studio Ghibli movies right now. That's his jam. So all the like
Nice.
Totoro's, Kiki Delivery Service, Spirited Away, stuff like that. So
I think I'm the world's biggest Ponyo fan.
No, Calvin is too. Calvin loves Ponyo. Loves it.
Of the ones that I've seen, like I tend to gravitate more towards like the simpler ones.
Yeah.
And Ponyo, like I'd rather watch Ponyo than like Princess Mononoke and things like that.
Yeah, actually I really like almost all of them we've watched. I really, really enjoy. I love Kiki's Delivery Service. That one's the one it's the most accessible. It's like the most straightforward story. Whereas like something like Spirited Away is very strange, but beautiful. And I still love that one too. But I like Kiki a lot. We go back to that one a lot. Welcome to our Studio Ghibli podcast.
Did you see The Wind Rises? I think that was the last Miyazaki movie.
That is on our list, but we haven't watched it yet.
It's interesting. It's like surprisingly like adult
Okay.
but it's good.
And should I watch it first before I show it to an 8-year-old?
Yeah, 'cause it has to do a lot with like World War II, and it's like about a character who is like he's an engineer for the Japanese Zeros. So he's like basically he's an artist, but he's like conflicted about creating like these, things that are killing people. So that's sort of what it's about. So it's pretty adult.
Yeah. I don't know if that's going to do it for him. Maybe we'll watch that one first and then we'll decide. Thank you for that. That helps.
Sure.
Do we have anything else we want to say about the Expendables?
I like the theme song.
There's a theme song?
There's a score. It's this composer, Brian Tyler. And if you watch, I watched all 3 of them over like 4 nights. And eventually it becomes like catchy, like the Avengers theme.
Okay. See, I didn't pick up on that at all. But I haven't watched
I did
the
it
third
before
one.
this viewing, so.
Good to know. What about you, Margo? Any final thoughts on the Expendables?
I really like John Cusack as Barney Ross because he does that kickboxing shit. Like he has a darkness about him, but he's done comedy. He hasn't done a comedy in a really long time. He needs to do it. So I think this would be a good part for him.
I agree. I like that you're like, I want to talk about the movie I've created in my head.
Yeah, exactly.
I could just see John Cusack in that like reconnaissance scene, and he's wearing like every article of clothing is black, including a black baseball cap.
He could be playing the same character from Grosse Point Blank.
Yeah, that's true.
It could be a shared universe. Why not? Throw
Mhm.
Dan Aykroyd in there, or did he die
Yeah.
in it? I forget. He didn't die,
Yeah.
did he? Did he?
Yeah, at the end of the movie.
Yeah. All right.
And
Never
then
mind. Then.
Cusack comes home, and then he bumps into Minnie Driver, and he's like, "You should have waited for me. I was worth it." And she's like, "I did. Haven't you seen Grosse Point Blank? That's the whole point of it."
I can't believe I didn't put Minnie Driver on my list. Now I'm mad at me. I'm mad at myself. I love Minnie Driver.
Speaking of her, I watched Hard Rain for the first time this morning. Do you remember Hard Rain with
Rain.
Kristen Slater and Morgan Freeman and Minnie Driver?
In the middle of a storm, right? There's the
Yeah.
hard rain falling.
Yeah, it's really not good.
Yeah. It didn't
And
seem like much of a
I'll-
premise to me.
No, and I love, action movies from the 90s, but this was like, and I love disaster movies from the 90s, but this was just like, I felt bad for the actors because it's basically they're in like this giant wet tank and it's like they've got nothing to do.
Oh, that
So,
sounds terrible. That sounds
yeah.
miserable.
Yeah.
I'll scratch that one off the list. Adam, where can people find you on the internet?
I write and I'm on podcasts occasionally on fthismovie.com. That's the letter F, thismovie.com. And I'm on Twitter at Riske Adam. And I post all the articles I write and podcasts that I'm on there. So if you're looking for my work, you can find it all on Twitter.
Adam is one of my very favorite film writers.
Mm-hmm.
You're very kind.
I'm
Thank
always excited when Adam comes on the show. Margo, where
you.
can
You two
people
are my favorite people.
Oh, you're our people.
Aw.
F this movie is my people too.
Yeah, we're a big family.
Yeah.
Big group hug. Big air social distance group hug.
Yeah. Sometimes I refer to this podcast as F this movie's like bratty little sister. Margo, where can people find you?
You can find me on social media at Brooklyn Fit Chick, and that's mostly for Twitter and Instagram. And my blog is brooklynfitchick.com.
And you can find both of us at What a Creep every week,
Yeah.
where we talk about creeps. This week is Frank Sinatra, and it's a really fun one. It's a fun creep.
It's a super fun creep, so it won't bum you out, trust me.
Yeah, so definitely take a listen to that. And you can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter and Instagram. And you can find Dorking Out at dorkingout.com and Dorking Out Show on Twitter. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts and you want to give us some stars, we would greatly appreciate it. And we'll give you a shout out on the air. That's what people do. That's what the cool kids do.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Adam, for coming on to talk about the Expendables. And I loved both of your lists. They were so good.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It was fun.